Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. And we are proudly sponsored by Rent, Shuffle and Roll. Hello, my name is Craig and I am joined, as always, by my glorious co-host, Becky.
Oh, hello. That was a nice intro.
I know, glorious. It was lovely.
Wow.
Today is episode 10.
Is it?
Episode 10, Board Game Arena. BG Yay or BG Nay? Good title?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Works.
So, yeah, over the last week, we've been having a few requests for us to talk about Board Game Arena. And these have come from Steve at Boardgame Waffle on Instagram and at HaleyGen92. They've all been asking about our takes on the IRL in real life versions over the digital versions on Board Game Arena. So we're going to have a little bit of a deep dive into some of the games that are on BGA that we own in real life, that we enjoy to play on Board Game Arena, as well as the ones we don't particularly enjoy that much, as well as some that we don't own that we play that we may think
Never buy.
Actually, yeah, we don't need to buy that sort of stuff. I do feel though this could be quite a big topic, and it probably requires a couple of episodes. Yeah. So we might come back to this. So if there are unanswered questions and things like that, rest assured we'll probably come back to it down the line, because there's a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Board Game Arena. But first, as always, why don't we talk about what's hit our table this week?
Okay, so for the most part of the week, we didn't actually play that many games.
No.
We played 3 games of Blood on the Clock Tower online with our friends on Monday.
That was quite chaotic. We used the new demon that they've just brought in, which is really cool.
What was it called?
The Yagagabble.
Yagagabble.
So they have a secret word or sentence that they have to say, and the number of times they say it, they kill a townsfolk or an outsider that's in the town. They kill someone based on the storyteller's choosing at any time. So it's quite fun, and you can kind of throw some spanners in the works. You can make them think that other characters might exist on the script when they don't. It's really cool. I think it's just suddenly my favourite demon. I don't know.
Okay. And then we didn't play any games for the rest of the week until Saturday, when we had Always Play Blue and his lovely wife over for our board games day. And then we got lots of games in, so that was quite good.
We did.
So we started off with a game of Castles of Burgundy, which I had wanted to play for a long time. Seeing like the new deluxe version of it looks pretty cool, and I was like, well, what's all the fuss about? Because it seems like it's quite old. The game is quite old,
and it's a lot of people's favourite game.
And I was like, I want to know what all the fuss is about, but I don't necessarily want to buy it. I just want to see if I like it. And he taught it to us, and it's definitely a game that I would want to play again. It's very puzzly. You're rolling dice, but what I liked about it was that you can mitigate the dice rolls by getting workers that plus or minus the score on the pips of the dice. So it doesn't feel like you're just beholden to what your role is. You have some agency in that.
It feels like there's a lot of strategies as well. There are lots of different paths to victory, which is quite nice.
Yeah. So that was really good. We then played a 4-player game of Viticulture, which was nice. We were trying to sway his view on Viticulture. I don't think we did. But I enjoy playing Viticulture. I actually prefer playing it at 2. At 4, there's something about playing when the board is upside down.
Yeah, agreed.
I think when we usually play it, we usually sit next to each other. We can all see the board, and it feels nice to play across the board. Playing upside down felt a little strange, and I know that might sound really odd to some people, but for me, just aesthetically, it wasn't as pleasing as playing 2-player. But
I
I got it
I
right.
do also think like sometimes with viticulture, I feel like it's quite for me. I feel like it's one of our like kind of cozy games. Like one of us will win the game, and the other one will be like, "Oh well, you won, okay." Not like, "Oh, I was so close to winning. Oh, damn it. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that." It's more of a, "Oh well, that happened."
Yeah.
It just passes you by, but it's nice, relaxing kind of. We're making wine, we're getting points, and oh, someone won. Oh,
Yeah.
oh well, never mind.
And then we quite literally took canvas off the wall
Yes.
because I don't think we've played it since we put it on the wall.
No, we haven't.
So it was really nice to get that back down. It's quite a nice filler game. I called on it quite a lot. I thought the last time we played it, I thought the production quality could have been a bit better. I know you can buy all the extra bits like the easels and the other cards, but I feel like it should have had that originally. I don't feel like I want to buy all the different parts for it. However, we had a very nice, pleasant game of Canvas. It was enjoyable.
It's definitely one of those games. Like the wooden pallets that they do as a deluxe upgrade. Yeah. It's a good game. The thing I find with it is it's not about the art; it's about the scoring on the bottom of the cards. So it could just be anything. It doesn't. The picture that you create doesn't really matter. So it's less about the art. Whereas I kind of want it to be about the picture. I want a silly name and I want a funny picture, but I don't want to just make something that I like that's a funny name and a silly picture and then score no points. But I like the picture.
I think it depends who you play it with.
Yeah.
Because certainly Brian was sort of selling his picture and explaining the story behind it, which made it a bit more exciting for me. And I thought, oh, actually, if you play it in that manner, then you can make it a bit more than what it is. If you just play it, oh, I just made this picture, here's the name of it, this is how many points I scored, it's kind of a bit dull. But yeah, you can... I think the people make it.
Yeah, I've heard of a house rule where people like vote on the favourite painting, and you can't vote for your own. Everyone has to vote for someone else's around the table, and you get an extra ribbon. So you get like a silver ribbon, so you get an extra 2 points or something, which is quite a nice little touch. And it makes it a bit more about the art then, actually about the pictures and about the story that people make up, which is quite nice.
And then we played our sort of go-to game if we can't play Bell on the Clock Tower, which is Deception Murder in Hong Kong, which seems to now come out more often than not with people for games days. It's one of you is a murderer around the table, one of you is the forensic scientist giving clues, and the other two, well, we play it 4-player, the other two are investigators. They have to try and work out who the murderer is by reading the clues that the forensic scientist given. There's a bit of social deduction, kind of try and work it out. I enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then just before they left, we played a lovely game of Flamecraft, which just feels very chill. The artwork on it just always draws me in. I'm like, oh, it's cute dragons.
It was definitely very chilled, but it was probably the most strategic game of Flamecraft that I've ever played in my life ever. Everybody was really like thinking about the best ways to combo things together, go to the right shots, get the right stuff to be able to do the right things on the next move. It was really good. It was a really exciting game. Sometimes we just play that game and it just goes. Like we run through the deck really quickly. But yeah, it was good. And
then our daughter wanted to play some games after Ali and Brian left. So we played a game of Ingenious, which is a new... Is it Cosmos game?
Yeah.
Cosmos game to us, which is puzzles, trying to match coloured shapes to score the most points. But what's interesting about that game is you actually... The winning score is your lowest score.
Yeah, so you're trying to move 6 colours up a chart, and the lowest colour is your final score. So it's really about moving all of those colours up equally rather than just concentrating on one colour.
Which is an interesting mechanic, I think, yeah. And then we tried to teach her a game of Planet Unknown, which I think she did enjoy, but it was getting a bit late by then, so I feel like she didn't quite grasp all of the rules, but it was good nonetheless. And then for Mother's Day, I received Space Base. Now, the first game that we played of that, I hated because we've only ever played it on BGA, and on BGA, it does all the upkeep for you.
Yep, all the
And then
admin.
suddenly I was having to turn cards around and remember to move my income marker and work out how to move my planets. And it was just a bit confusing for my brain. I know it's not a confusing game, but it was confusing for my brain because I've only ever played it on BGA. The second game we played of it went much smoother, I feel, and now I've kind of got how we can play in real life. So I'm interested to see whether we play it more now that we've got it as a game, or whether it is more of a BGA favourite.
I think we will play it. I think we will table it more, like quite often. I always initially worried that always looking how it looks on BGA and then looking at photographs of it and seeing all these cards laid out on the table. And it just looked like, wow, there is so much to keep track of and look at. But it doesn't actually take up as much space as I thought it would. So that I was pleasantly surprised. So that wasn't as bad to me. But I do totally agree with you. The admin is sort of like, why is the computer not doing the admin for me? Why is someone not coming in here and being Mr. BGA
Especially
and helping
when you've
me?
got two children making a lot of noise. It was very confusing
Yeah,
for my
I
brain.
would agree with that wholly. That was it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much our gaming week, which was pretty cool. We got some good games in at the end of the week.
I'm hoping that we can lift the number of games next weekend because it's aircon.
Absolutely. Looking forward to aircon next week. Play some more games with lovely lot from on the internet land, and if anyone sees us, we'll be wearing our fantastic, hopefully be wearing our official shirts and merch.
And I've got merch now.
Yeah, Get Into Games and Mrs. Get Into Games hooded hoodies, and t-shirts. That'll be really cool when they come. Hopefully they'll come. Touch wood. Yeah, really looking forward to that next week. Well, this week coming up. A few days away. Excellent.
Right, they have to be here by Friday.
So what we want to talk about today is Board Game Arena. But what I would ask is, what is Board Game Arena for people who do not know?
So, Board Game Arena is an online board game platform. You can play in real time, or you can play turn-based with players all over the world. So that's quite cool. Best of all, you can play board games and enjoy most of the functionality for free. However, some games and features are only available with a premium membership. So bonus features include premium games. So there are some games that you can only play if you've got a premium account. Not that many, though, I would say.
No.
You can play quite a lot.
You can play most of them. Yeah. There's like things like Arc Nova and Wingspan and stuff are all in premium. A King of Tokyo, that's in premium. That sort of stuff.
With premium, you also don't have to wait to play, and you can play from the same IP address, which is good for us because that means we can both play a game with whoever we want to play with online. And with premium, you also have access to voice and video chat, which is quite nice because sometimes you actually like to see the people who you're playing with, and you get all of that for what I think is a very reasonable price of £33 a year. So compared to it's the price of one board game essentially, and you get
over
500 plus games. So it's pretty much a no-brainer, really.
And the other thing that's really cool is that if you have one person in your group that has a premium account, everyone can play those premium games. It's just the premium person needs to set up the games, but you can play all those premium games just by having one person in your board gaming group. To be able to do that, and that's wicked. So I do that a lot because obviously I have the premium account under my name, but you can play. We can play with anyone else who wants to join a game. You were at work the other day, and then I played with Brad and Susie from Games with Beanie, and I was able to access the games because they've got an account. And, so it's a nice way. We play with people, across the world. People in Sweden and. I can't remember where other people live. America, Switzerland, everywhere. That we wouldn't be able to play or share games with really very easily. And And the other cool thing is the being able to play real time with people and being able to play turn based. So if you do play with someone like in Australia on the other side of the world, you can, well, for us that's the other side of the world. If you play with someone in England on the other side of the world, that might work also. You can literally do your move and then just wait until they're awake and they'll do their move, and then the next morning when you go to sleep, you wake up, then your move's ready, and you play like that. So it's pretty good that there's that option as well. You can play in your lunch breaks, in your tea breaks, on a walk, anywhere you want. You can always be playing a board game.
And there are other tabletop simulators that we've tried, and they feel clunky.
Yeah, Tabletop Simulator it's a simulator, so it's showing a real life version. So we tried playing Quacks of Quedlinburg, didn't we, once? And you had to bring your mouse into the bag, click on the chip, drag it over, put it on the exact spot, but then you drop it on the wrong spot. Then you have to pick it up and you have to put it back on. It feels just really clunky and unresponsive. Whereas this is more app-based. Works perfectly on a smartphone.
Press a button and it does a thing and it puts it where it should go. You know, it's very easy to use, and I find it. In our groups of people that we play online, we'll teach each other games, and it's quite easy to teach each other games over the internet. So yeah, it's good.
Absolutely. But if only there was another way to access board games on a try before you buy basis.
Well, there is. So, Rent, Shuffle and Roll, their website states that you can unlock a world of games with no tie-in subscription, and they have access to 1,000 board games to choose from. And I was having a little look, and I was thinking, oh, actually, I could make a little list of games that I'd like to try before we buy. So, things on my list that they have in stock at the moment are Agricola, Baron Park, Catan, Spirit Islands, Smartphone Inc., Russian Railroads, and Night of the Ninja. So if I had the option, I would be looking to try those before we buy them.
As you were scrolling through, you saw a huge amount of games. They had Blood and the Clock Tower on there. They had Ark Nova. They've got a huge range of games.
Yeah. So if you use a code GITG50, you get 50% off your first month.
Well, that sounds very good.
And there are definitely a lot of games that you might like to try.
So head on over to www.rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and use code GITG50 for 50% off your first month. And also help out the podcast and help us out. Every little bit helps. Thank you. So, let's dive into it then. BG yay or BG nay? We're going to just talk about a few of the games that we play on Board Game Arena. There's hundreds, as we've spoken about before. It's a huge topic. There's more games than we could possibly ever mention. So we're going to mention a few each. Yeah. We've
had to curtail a very long list into a very short list because otherwise we would just be going on for days. Because there are a lot of games that we play on BGA or have played over the course of having BGA. Like Craig said, we can do another episode if people are interested, but we've tried to be concise.
Yeah, it's
best as possible.
Something. It's one of those things that we could go on for days because there's just so many,
and you can talk about lots of different things to do with BGA. So we could talk about turn-based, we could talk about real time. There's lots of different avenues to discuss.
Yeah, because some games that work so well in real time, for me, when you start playing them turn-based, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
And that's fine. A lot of people that I know, there are people I know with 70 to 100 games on the go at one time. So for them, having a turn-based version of Nick Station London, it's fine. It's just click a line, done.
I do not want to wait that long
for a line
to draw one line. I lose interest.
Absolutely.
So, shall we talk about the games that we actually own that we think are a good representation online?
Yes.
Do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
I'm happy to go first.
Go on.
I'll pick one. So one I think is a really good game to play to see if you like it is Boop. Boop to me gives you exactly what you want from that game. So for people not aware of what Boop is about cats and kittens booping each other around the bed. You start off with 6 kittens. No, you don't. You start off with 8 kittens. I don't know numbers anymore. You start off with 8 kittens, and you need to get a row of 3 kittens to turn those 3 kittens into cats. But however, when you place a kitten next to a kitten, they push each other away from each other. And kittens boop kittens, but they can't boop cats. Cats boop cats, and cats also boop kittens. So that's basically how that plays. And you can boop your own cats and kittens as well as booping your opponent's cats and kittens. It's really clever. You're basically trying to knock your kittens into each other so you can get those 3 in a row. And then you win by getting 3 cats in a row. But obviously you have to get your kittens to turn into cats before you can get 3 cats.
I mean, you say obvious, but I'm listening to you thinking, pardon?
Yeah. Anyway, it's a really good abstract game. We have both versions of it at the moment. We have Halloween Boop that introduces a ghost. We have normal Boop, and at Christmas we will be getting Christmas Boop. You heard it here first, folks. And it looks like they're cats booping each other while they're chasing each other up a Christmas tree.
And there's tears.
It's a Christmas tree, yeah. So they're running up and down a Christmas tree trying to boop each other, grabbing baubles and stuff like that. It looks amazing. So yeah, I can't wait for that. But anyway, that's beside the point.
But it works.
It looks really cute. You see the kittens on the bed. It all looks like it looks in real life. I do love the game in real life because you get the cushioned mattress. The box flips upside down. It has a cushioned mattress. Then you have the really nice wooden meeple cats that are nice, big and chunky little meeples. And that makes you feel really, really good when you're moving them around. You can miss things. So the good thing about BGA is when you do something, everything moves, and everything moves. In real life, you can put something down and then go, oh, actually, I didn't move something, and then you've sort of messed up the game a little bit. But you've just got to pay attention to what you're doing. So Boop, I think, is definitely BGA for me because it is a very good representation of the game. I think we played it on BGA before we played it. We owned it in real life because it was one of those ones that I was desperate to get, but it came on, so we played it loads. And I annoyed you because I kept going boop, boop every time.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a yay too. I don't think you miss anything out by having it digitally. It works fine. My first BGA is Ticket to Ride.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would play it in real life as well, but I think that the representation on BGA is very good. I think that I like the fact that it does the upkeep of the score for you, but you still have the strategy of thinking of where you're going to put out your trains and how you're going to maximize your scoring points. So I don't think it loses anything on BGA. In fact, we were talking the other day about the fact that it actually helps because sometimes, so we played Legends of the West and we don't know American geography very well.
We don't know where anything is.
So when it said you need to get a train from this place to this place, I was like, well, where is that? I'm better with like Europe because I know where places are in Europe. So, but on BGA, it actually, when you click on your ticket,
they glow red, don't they? Yeah.
Where the place is. So it helps you in that regard, but it doesn't take away any of the strategy.
It also helps you when you're selecting your routes at the beginning of the game, doesn't it? Because if you can highlight where they are, you can work out how they link together. Whereas sometimes when you've got the physical game, you're like, well, where is that? Where am I going?
Yeah, it's a fairly simple thing. But I enjoy playing it online as much as I enjoy. In fact, you just don't have the faff of the setup.
The absolute simplicity of the game is the fact that it is.
It works very nice.
It works so good, yeah. And the fact that the game is so simple and straightforward. And I know there's a lot of people that aren't massively into Ticket to Ride, but Ticket to Ride is the perfect gateway game for a lot of people to get into modern gaming. If people want to play Monopoly, play Ticket to Ride. They love it. So yeah, my next one that I really like on BGA. So it's a BGA for me.
BGA, yay.
BGA.
No, it's BGA, yay.
Yay.
BGA, yay.
Sure. I really like Downforce.
Oh, okay.
I like it, and I think we've actually genuinely think we might have played Downforce more on BGA than we have in real life. Possibly. I know my laptop doesn't like it because it always slows down really badly when we play it. It like starts crying and screaming at me. But I like the fact that we can play it with more people. We can play at the full player count. I like how the card play works with the selecting the cards to use on the actual game. It looks really good. It's really straightforward as far as following the rules and getting to use of the stuff. It looks cool on the track. I don't think you lose anything by...
only the cute car.
But you can see the car. The cars are okay. There's someone I know like had the Mario Kart Monopoly, and he used those things because they're red and green and they're the right colours, and so they had Mario Kart Downforce. Now that was cool. I do think it's a great game in real life, and I like the fact that it's more about betting and that kind of thing rather than the race itself. Mm-hmm. I like it. I like its version on BGA. I think it's really good implementation.
We also played a lot of versions of it when we had COVID, and I was upstairs and you were downstairs.
Yes. Well, that's why that is why we got BGA in the first place. Yeah, because we couldn't play board games because you decided to get long COVID out of all the versions of COVID. You decided
we could see each other after.
You decided to open the bag and go, "Oh, I'll get the worst one." So we that's why we got BGA, because we were in two separate areas of the house. But we made it work, and we played a lot of Downforce, and Downforce was great. I enjoyed that.
Another one for me that I actually feel we've got this game, but I actually feel it's better on BGA is Tuanaku. Now Tuanaku is like a puzzle game where you're revealing crops, is it?
Yeah.
And divining what crop is going to be on what type of field. And in real life, there is this very strange dial that you have to put the setup for the game into, and then you can open the windows to see whether you're correct when you're divining it or when you're
when you're searching to see what crops you've got or guessing that kind of thing.
So, but it's a faff in real life because one, you can sometimes you can see the setup. Well, you need to see the setup, but sometimes you can see the answers as you're putting it in. But also sometimes you can open the wrong window and that would reveal something that you weren't supposed to see. The passing it back and forth just seems a bit faffy. I like the puzzle of it, and therefore on BGA it's better because you don't have to deal with that dial. It just tells you whether you were correct or...
It's got the Turing machine kind of element of like as well, whereas there's an app. You should have an app for Tuanaku almost. Yeah. And I know they want it to look the part and look like something that's based where it's set. Those people that are that tribe that are looking for dividing things to the gods, etc., so on and so forth. But I agree, and it works really well. Essentially, Tuanaku is Sudoku, the board game, realistically. With a bit of a cool puzzle.
It's a nice puzzle.
It's a really good game, but for the setup and for the game, the setup is the main thing, I think. Like, you can click on PGA, you can be playing it within 2 minutes. The game's
you have a couple of games in the time it takes to set
it.
What's your last one in that list?
My last one on this list is a brand new game.
A brand new game?
That we just had. It's Space Base.
Why did you buy it then?
Space Base is definitely BGA for me. As mentioned before, all of the admin is taken care of. and it just makes it a lot quicker and smoother and seamless, and it's a perfect thing. So again, for people who don't know, Space Base is a game about. It's a race game to no, it's not. That's the different game. It's a race game. Oh, it is a race game to 40 points.
40
Sorry,
points,
I went into After Us, which is a race game to 80 points.
No, 40
No,
points.
it's a race game to 40 points, and you're basically rolling dice, and you'll roll a dice, and you can score the base, the spaceship that is on whatever dice you roll. So it could be, say you've rolled a 5 and a 2. So you could score whatever the 5 base is and whatever the 2 base, or you could score the 7 base, for example.
And the rewards, so one is like a low reward, maybe one coin or one rocket. As you go further up it goes up to 12.
Yep.
The 12 rewards are really good.
Much better,
like
yeah. Multiple rockets or planets
5,
or all sorts of really cool stuff. So there's a lot of it's a really good game. And then also the good thing is, what I find that's good about it is when you've rolled the dice, you get stuff, but everyone else around the table can activate those dice as well if they've got a card flipped on the other side. Yeah. And there's a really good learning tool on BGA as well, because it will tell you what's a good move, then you can turn that off. Like, it helps you play the game. You can it shows you what ones you can activate and you can choose, or it won't tell you anything and you can activate it yourself. So there's a really good learning tool of how to get used to the game and how to strategize in the game in the best way, and things to buy. And the different bases, you then, when you go coins, you buy bases, but BGA just highlights stuff for you, like highlights what you can afford, gives you pointers. It just, the admin is done, and it makes it smoother and quicker, and you never have to worry about, have I moved my coin track back, or have I now just doubled the amount of coins I have this turn, and now I've cheated without realizing I've cheated because I never brought my track back to 0 when I absolutely should have brought my track back to 0.
I also think that when you're playing it in real life, so you move the card, you turn it upside down, you stick it underneath the board, is fine. But we've had 2 games now where actually the cards slide underneath, and then you need to go and fish them out. And meanwhile, your income track and your planet track has been because it's messed up because you had to move your board.
If it was a double-layered board, it'd be all right.
It's not ideal.
But when you put one card behind the board, it's fine. But when you start layering 2, 3, 4 cards behind, it starts getting more awkward to actually slide the cards, and then it starts. So yeah, Space Base for me is a really good on. I do think the reason I got it, I think it's a really nice game to table, and I think we will get it to the table more than just firing up the laptop or the phone. And it's good to not be on your screen. So as much as it's good to use BGA and be on there, it's good to...
It's like reading a good book, isn't it? It's nice to read it on a Kindle when you're going on holiday, but actually you can't beat having the book.
The pages, the smell of the dried ink, and
all of that
paper and the good stuff.
My last one,
yes,
and it is an upkeep thing. It's about the setup and how long it takes versus the actual game. My last BGA, yay, because I like to add in the extra.
I know you do.
I'm just spoiling your little thing.
My fun.
Is Obsession. Now, Obsession to set up, whilst it has nice boxes in the bigger box and it makes it easier to set up, is a bit, I don't know, it takes a while to set it up. And I don't feel like there's that much benefit to having it in real life. The experience you get online, and we've played a lot of games of Obsession online, is just as good as the one that you get, I think, from the box. Yes, it's always nice to have the nice tiles and you turn them over, but essentially it's just meeples and tiles that you turn back and forth, and that can be replicated quite nicely on BGA without me having to spend 20 minutes setting it up.
There are tiles that have to be removed as well, and our Obsession box has got like every expansion in the box, in the one box. So it's working out, and every game, because we don't play it a huge amount, it's working out. So what tiles can I have at the beginning? Oh, I'm not allowed. And what level can they be? Oh, they have to be a 1 or a 2 or something or whatever. I think it's one
Then
or
you have
two.
to go fishing them out the bag.
Then you fish them specific ones out the bag, and then throw everything else back in the bag to draw it. Like, yeah, there's a clunkiness to set up, which to be able to just click on a button and go, oh, we're playing Obsession now. And there are some other games that I feel like that as well, which to me, we might get into that in a little while, I think.
So we're gonna move on from BGA. You don't like me saying that, BGA.
We're moving on from BGA.
Or BGA.
Yay.
We should have probably ironed this out before we started.
There was never going to be an ironing out.
We're moving on to games that we've never actually owned, and we probably never will, because we can play them on BGA and they work so nicely. So
this is more BG Wahey!
Yeah, Wahey. BGA Wahey.
Okay. Ruined my life.
So,
welcome to Getting the Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. I'm your host, Craig. Becky's dead.
So I'm just going to run through mine quickly, because I feel like everyone will know the games that I'm talking about, so we don't need to go into a huge amount of detail. But these are 3 games that I feel like I will just play it on BGA and I'll be happy with that, and I don't need the real copy. First one is Patchwork. We have a lot of tile placement games in our collection. I love Patchwork. I really enjoy it, but I think it plays just fine on BGA, and I'm not that interested in getting it in real life.
Yeah, agreed. It plays perfectly well. It's a tile placement game. Like you said, we've just got lots. We've got Cottage Garden, we've got Alice's Garden, we've got Planet Unknown, we've got loads. So, and it's fine.
The next one is similar, is Azul.
Mm-hmm.
I like the bog standard version. I don't need chocolate version or Summer Pavilions or anything like that. I just like the normal Azul, and for me it works fine on VGA, and it does all the upkeep of the scoring, which you would otherwise have to do for yourself. And we've played it at the dice box before in real life, and it's fine, but if I want to play it, I'll just play it on BGA.
Everybody, and the other thing is, people mention like, oh, but Azul, it's got the tactile little tiles. It's like, yeah, but millions of games have got those. I can play Aquilin, I can play Libertalia. If I just want to play with those tiles, I'll just fiddle with tiles.
And then the last one on my list of games, and I have been tempted to buy it a couple of times, but I've never actually clicked buy on the basket.
On the website machine.
Yeah, is Q-Birds.
Ooh.
I really like Q-Birds. It's a set collection of birds, but the way you have to lay cards down, don't you? And then you can take
you have to have 2 matching cards either side, and you can take all the cards in the middle.
Between, and I feel like that's a space-based kind of scenario whereby the actual organising of it on the table is taken away from you on BGA, and you can just get to playing the game and strategizing how you're going to play it.
Yeah.
I feel like in real life, it might just be a bit clunky to be like, oh, and now I've got to do this with the birds, and now... and it works fine.
It's really cool. I like the whole... I really like that game. Like the way to win, it's 3 sets of 3 or 6 sets of 2 or something.
No, that doesn't sound right, but okay.
Like, you have to get...
Yeah, you have to get...
You get a set of animals, and I thought it was something like that. You have to get 3... One you collected... Anyway, something like that.
The numbers didn't sound right to me, but...
I think it sounded perfect, because I am perfect. My don't own games that I feel like we don't need to own because they're so good on the Board Game Arena, Board Game BG Wahey, are firstly is Shifting Stones. I really, really, really like Shifting Stones, and in fact, at the cafe, it's one of the games that I will always table, and I always get people to play because it's so accessible to anyone. It's so very, very good, but the implementation on BGA is also absolutely perfect, and you get the exact same experience. And like you mentioned before once, that there's no tactile thing because you're shifting cardboard tiles, so you're not shifting stones.
This is my big problem with it. I think
You
it
want them
should
to be big
stones.
If they were big ceramic like coasters that were coloured on either side,
big, does it?
well, they have to be the size that they are in the box.
See it, but
painted on either side. I think that'd be wicked. A deluxe version would be great, but then you've got a deluxe version of a game that would cost £40, where the game is a £20 game.
It's fine on BGA. I just play it on BGA. I don't need a copy.
So shifting stones, depending on how your player count is, depending on how many cards you need to collect. So you can discard a card to shift stone, like swap orthogonally some stones. You can discard a card to flip a stone to the other side, and the other side will have a different colour. Or you can score a card, and you do this. You have 4 cards in hand to start. You do that. You play your cards. You do all the things, and then you draw all the things. That's the scoring, the shifting, and the flipping. And then you draw back up to 4, and it's the next person's turn. And then you go round and round and round, depending on the player count that you are playing with. If you play with 2, it's 10 cards. If you play with 3, it's 9 cards. If you play with 4, it's 8 cards.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
And then you're just definitely against my rules of things today, aren't you? Just like, is it that? Is it that? Is it that 40 points? Is it 80 points? Is it 6 points? Is it?
Remember.
Is it? Are you sure Everdell's got a tree? Has it got a tree? Is there a tree? Yeah, and then and if you have the most one point cards, you get a bonus 3 points. It's just really easy. It's really accessible, and it's a fantastic little game.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
Okay.
Another game I don't own, and I don't think I would ever own or need to, is Welcome to.
We have owned.
That's an interesting hum.
We have owned a version of it.
We owned Welcome to the Moon, which was an overcomplicated, unnecessarily complicated,
that's
fool's errand of I'm lost for words. I'm flabbergasted. Yeah, Welcome to the Moon just didn't hit with me. I was just like, what is the point? It's like some kind of semi-campaign, roll and write, flip and write, even because it's not a roll and write.
It was too complicated for its own good, really.
Yeah, they tried, and congratulations on them, pat on the back for trying. But Welcome to is the perfect version of that game. You are basically in one version. There's a load of versions, but in Welcome to My New Neighborhood, or whatever it's called.
I like the one with the ice creams.
Yeah, that's like an expansion to that version. There's loads of expansion. There's a zombie expansion to it as well. It's wicked. Yeah.
Is that on BG?
I'm not sure.
The ice cream one is.
Yeah. And you basically are flipping over cards, writing door numbers.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. And
building pools,
building parks, and then getting groups of buildings together for planning permission to build groups of houses to score objectives.
It's a bit like Tranquility in that you've got like 13 spaces, but you've got the numbers 1 to something or other.
Yeah, each row has a different number of houses.
And you have to try and foresee what might come up in future turns. So if you place a 5-3 from the left-hand side, are you going to get a 4 or a 2 to put in before it? Or, it's about where you place the numbers. It's cool, but yeah, you don't need it in real life.
No, I'm more than happy to BGA.
BGA.
Wahey!
BG Wahey.
Thank you for saying it correctly. This
BGA Wahey.
In silence. And the last one that I don't own, I'm happy to play it on BGA. And I also think I've called dramatically on it, which has also stopped me wanting to buy it.
It's because we've never won.
Yeah, probably. But it's just
like never won.
I don't think you
ever won.
No.
The computer always wins.
This is Paint the Roses. Now, Paint the Roses is you are an Alice in Wonderland themed game. You are the
themed game.
You are the themed game.
Are you?
You are.
Oh,
it's
right.
an Alice in Wonderland themed game where you are playing as cards. Doing the Queen of Hearts. Yeah, you're like the cards, aren't you? They're her cards.
I don't know, the white rabbit's in it. And...
Yeah, but you're chopping up. You're doing the garden. You're tidying her garden, making it nice, looking pretty. And she wants specific things next to specific things, and that's based on a card that you draw. And then you have to, using cubes, secretly give clues to what your what your objective is to your, so it's cooperative to your partner who's playing the game or group of people, because it's like 4 players or 6 players, something like that. I don't know the answer to that one. I think 4. And it's really hard because as you get to a certain point, the queen then is chasing you. So if you make a mistake, she gets closer and closer, and if she gets too close to you, she chops your head off. And because you've upset her. So she's chasing you around the garden. But as you get to a certain point, she then starts moving quicker. So then you have even less opportunity. So as things are getting more difficult, she's moving quicker, making it harder.
But if you choose the easy cards, you can't win because she catches you up. And if you choose the hard cards, you can't do it because it's too hard and she catches you up. So,
and I know it's not too hard. I know people have done it before, and it's probably just us.
Who are these people?
They are Craig, the Midland Meeple,
oh, right, okay.
and Matty, the Midland Meeple, the other Meeple. But I just, I like it. I really like it. Because I like limited communication games. I like things like Sky
You just don't
Team.
like talking to me.
Yeah.
Have we got any games where we don't have to talk for the whole evening? That'd be great.
Let's play the mind.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. I like limited communication. I like that sort of mechanic, but I just feel that one's just too hard. Okay. But it's fine on BGA because it's a good.
Every once in a while, we want to play it.
Also, limited communication really works with that game on BGA because you don't need to talk to each other because you're on a computer playing with someone across the world. Whereas something like Sky Team, as amazing it is, if you are playing with someone turn-based, there's that bit of communication you're allowed for 30 seconds. You're never going to have it anyway. So that was my BG Wahays.
So
even though I left it on a Wahoo.
We've done our BGA yays and our BGA Wahays.
No, we've done our BG yays and our BG Wahays.
Okay. And now we're going to do our BG
nays.
BGA nays.
BGA. Oh, watch me whip. Watch me BGA nay. Watch me whip whip.
Oh no, don't do
watch
that.
Me BG nay nay.
Royalties.
I don't think he said. I don't know who that was.
I don't know.
A man.
Okay, so
who went first the last time?
I think it was me. Would you like to go first?
I can go first. I don't mind going first.
BG nay.
My BG nay, my first BG nay is Ark Nova. Ark Nova, for me, most of the time is a nay.
Just in general.
In general. I don't mind it.
Even worse
I understand. I understand people love it. It's a good game. It's got lots of stuff going on. It's big old table spread, and I keep forgetting the rules every time I take it out of the box, so I put it back in the box.
Don't play that game turn-based on BGA.
Whoa.
You won't remember what you're doing from day to day.
The game, so unless you have like multiple screens or the world's biggest laptop or computer screen, unless you're playing it on your like 60-inch TV, there's so much going on with Ark Nova. The board is huge. You've got the board, you've got your like research, or what's that one called? The one with the associates and where you put your people, the research board or whatever it's called. You've got your own player board with your own tiles that you're putting in. You've got your card track of your action queue, and I love the action queue in Ark Nova. I think that's such a cool mechanic, and I like it when people do that. But it's like
there's a lot to keep track of.
So much to keep track of, and having that on my 13-inch MacBook Pro,
or your phone.
Listen to me. Well, on your phone, you just chuck your phone in the river. I'd just turn the game off. But
I think it's too big and too complicated to really pick up.
I know people really enjoy it on BGA, and I know people play it, and I know those people are wrong, but that's okay. That's okay.
This is just our opinion.
Our opinion, and it's the only opinion you're going to hear right now. So
you can choose to take no notice of us whatsoever.
But yeah, Ark Nova is trash. Sorry, BG nay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My first BGA nay.
Watch me whip. Watch me nay.
Are you going to do that every time?
Watch me whip.
Is Splendor.
Splendor.
So I just find with Splendor that, and I think maybe it's an error with me because I think I haven't turned off the setting that basically tells you what cards you can select. So I think it may be more to do with the user error than anything to do with the actual game on BGA. But for me, whenever we've played it, we have kind of had the option where it tells you which cards you can buy, and therefore all the strategy and all the thinking has been taken out of that game, to which it just becomes a very dull game of let me select the card, which is fine if you are like at the end of a night when you're playing with your friends and you just can't even be bothered to think, and you're like, yeah, sure, I'm still playing, yeah, I'm half asleep. But if you actually want a strategic game of Splendor, it's pretty much...
Yeah, it feels like you're doing one massive tutorial. Everything's highlighted for you constantly. It's like, do you want to do this? All right.
And then eventually someone wins and you're like, yeah, I didn't care about it.
Do you want to do this? Yeah. This will make you win. Okay, thanks, computer. Thanks very much. Do you want to buy this man who looks like Henry VIII? Okay, I'll buy that man who looks like Henry VIII.
So I would just say, BGA, nay, play it in real life where you have to do a bit of thinking, but nah, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind it. It's fine, but it is...
Maybe we should turn off that setting.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. It's just to highlight stuff, because it's just an app that tells you where to click, so I'm guessing it's not saying. Okay, my second BGA option, watch me whip, watch me BGA is Rallyman GT.
Ooh.
I really like Rallyman GT. I think it's my favourite racing game. Yeah, you heard that right, Heat fans. I just
because they're all tuning in going, what's he going to say about
everyone has tuned in to hear my views on Heat.
I think that's
which
cool
is fine.
As well,
I quite like Heat.
I don't hear
Heat's
much
fine.
about Heat.
They've just had an expansion with lack there of rain. Rallyman GT is really good, and I like it's push your luck dice. So Rallyman GT, in case you don't know, is a push your luck dice racing game that you are rolling your dice through gears, placing them on the track to move your car around. You're pushing your luck. You choose. You basically program what you want to do with your dice. You go, I want to go into the second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and cruise, and then break down, blah 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 blah. As you're going around, not break down,
no.
break down a gear as you're going around the corner.
Breaking down is very bad.
Yeah, don't do that. Spinning off. And then what you choose to do is you choose to then pick each dice up and you roll it. And if you get one of the hazard warning signs, you've risked it and you might roll. And if you get 3 hazard warnings, or 2 if you've had a situation, you spin out of control. Or you can risk it all for some focus tokens by picking all the dice up and just rolling them all. I remember I played a game with your dad, and your dad went, I'll risk it all. And he did it the whole time, and he risked everything. He never got anything wrong.
And he was like, what's the problem with this game?
He ended up like with 1 million focus tokens and winning, and I was just like, all right, well, we're never playing this one again. But online, it just drags on. I don't like the... I don't know. It just doesn't, for me, it doesn't really sit. It doesn't feel as nice. I think maybe it's something tactile about the actual dice, rolling the dice and things like that.
That leads me very nicely on to my BGA name.
Oh, watch me whip. Watch me nay.
BGA name. So, for that exact reason, King of Tokyo is on my list. So, it's a fine version on BGA, and I will play it on there, and you can do all the expansions that you might not necessarily have in your version, and it's great. But you cannot replicate the enjoyment you get from rolling those dice into the claw-marked dice tray, and the experience you get of playing that game with people in real life.
Yes, there's something quite disheartening about playing a game of King of Tokyo, a big multiplayer game, and then you get knocked out and there's still 5 people left, and you're just then sitting in front of your laptop on your own going, okay, cup of tea time for me.
Yeah.
At least with people you can kind of comment, you can get involved, whereas it
then just tells you you're a spectator.
Having the most satisfying dice in any board game, I think they are the best dice. They're just chunky. They're big old
better than the
chunky
rolling
boys.
Dice.
Yeah. chunky boys that roll nicely, and they're just gritty. And Godzilla's the
nice.
best.
But yeah, I would say you can play it online, but I would choose not to.
Yes.
If I had a choice. So your last BGA nay.
My watch me whip, watch me BGA nay.
Yeah.
My last BG nay.
Yes.
Nay. Is probably going to be a controversial choice.
I don't think so.
Is Planet Unknown.
Is that controversial? Why is that controversial?
I don't think everyone loves it. Everyone. They're outside again. All the
yeah, but
people
do they
who
love it in real life, or do they love it on BG?
All those people who love Heat that were outside in their Heat t-shirts have just swapped into their Planet Unknown ones now.
But do they love it in real life, or do they love it on BG?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You cannot beat the table presence of that game. And for me, it is a nice representation of the game, but the Lazy Susan just moves. The thing just spins, and you just get your tile. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It works. You get to play Planet Unknown. The objective cards are well hidden in the corner that you can't actually see. They're objective cards unless you click on a button to see the objective cards. Because I'm sure I've played games where people have forgotten that they're objectives, and
they might do that in real life.
And it's nice that it keeps track of those tracks for you and lets you move them.
I like
rover
doing that,
around.
I like the tactile tactile nature of moving the cubes up and down and moving your rover yourself.
Also, we have the deluxe edition, so we don't have we have the nice proper 3D printed meteorites and 3D printed life pods, whereas you only get the wooden things that people enjoy from the retail edition and that image. It's fine. It just, for me, it's just missing. It's missing all that is good about Planet Unknown.
Yeah.
It's just on BGA. It feels like this is another tile laying game, and I feel like you don't get how good that game truly is in real life when you're playing it on Boardgame Arena. That's my opinion of that, and of course, that is the only opinion.
So my last BGA nay
is watch me whip.
Well, I'm going to talk about one game in particular, and then sort of it branches out into other games.
Excellent. So you've told me to do a list of 3, and you've made 4.
Yeah, kind of.
Sounds fun.
So, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I absolutely love this game, but it is not great on BGA. It's not great on BGA because it isn't very intuitive. And we've played a couple of times with friends, and they've both. I can think of 2 examples where it's made somebody sort of switch off of liking it before they've even really had a chance to explore it, because it's just a bit clunky with how you pay for resources, how you pay to move and pay to do things. It doesn't feel that intuitive to do it. And also there's a lot of, so the artifacts and the item cards sometimes, and it might be user error, but sometimes it feels like you can't do what you want to do with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I haven't finished.
So yeah, I
haven't
what are you talking about? And also a different game, or
no? And also, I was going to carry on talking about Arnak.
Oh, okay.
I want to play with the shinies, and now we have new shinies. I want to play it even more with the shinies, but like the compasses and it's a tactile game, and this is why I picked it for my list, because I feel like any games that have good quality components are not to be played online. They're meant to be played in real life. So within Arnak, and you can talk about Arnak in a minute, I would put things like Parks, because that has lovely wooden pieces that just make it pleasurable to play with, and Viticulture, again, because there's just is a bit like going on to Planet Unknown. Not Planet Unknown, what did you say? Ark Nova, because there's so many bits of it that you have to then scroll up and down and see all the different bits.
You have to do that with Ark Nova as
but
well.
Viticulture has, the glass domed
Yeah,
things for the grapes and like I like all that. I like touching it. I like. Sorry, I sound like a weirdo now. I like
now you do, yeah.
I like that tactile nature of the games,
BGA,
and you don't get that online.
So, yeah, I agree with you. Sort of. I personally, I really like the Arnock on BGA because my win record is much higher than most people's. And my in-person win record is terrible. I used to, honestly, I would always have said, let's play Arnock on BGA just because of setup alone. I think that the setup, when we didn't have the folded space insert in the box, and it was just all in baggies and it was just component soup, made me really feel like, this is so long to set up because it's just everywhere. But now we've got the actual proper folded space insert, everything fits in the box really nicely and it's really easy to set up and really quick. Like you said, the Tinkertown Games upgrades for the gold coins and the compasses look fantastic and they're so good to play with. I do agree that sometimes people have had some issues with the like mechanics of it working. Some of the cards just haven't done what they wanted to do, whether that's user error, whether that's the game just being a bit going on the fritz every now and then. But Arnock it's one of those games that I do enjoy and I would play it on there. But I can see what you mean. It's a tactile game like Viticulture and Parks.
You also have to know the game before you can play it online. It's not one to teach.
It is not
online.
Yeah, you can't learn.
That shouldn't be your first experience of the game.
No, there's a lot of games like that. I would say it shouldn't be your first experience. There's a lot of games there's a whole other episode of what games you could learn online versus what games you can't. Like,
so let us know if you'd like that because I've got lots to say on that.
Yeah, this is a subject that we could go on, and there's so many games that we've not talked about. We've got lists and lists and lists and lists and lists. But that is so far our little episode on Boardgame Arena and all that it has to offer on those things. And I hope you've taken some notes from it, and I hope it's been helpful for finding new games.
Notes. Yeah, have you got your notepad?
There'll be a test next week during our episode for AirCon. So if you are at AirCon this weekend, Friday through Sunday, and you see us and you want to be part of our AirCon special that we'll be doing next week, we may well record some sound bites with you to be able to post on the episode, to see how you're enjoying the convention itself. Try to get some special guests on there. We also had, last week we did our board game backpack episode, which loads of you listened to, which was fantastic. Thank you so much. We even got a board game backpack almost sent in. Well, not the bag, just a photo of the bag.
There's someone going to AirCon. It was Spooky Meeples, and she? Yeah. She had her Kashyyyk backpack. And in it, she was taking Bears and Bees, a Grandpa Beck game.
Yep.
Next Station London, My Gold Mine, Medium, Gift of Tulips, and Tales of Fire. So if you meet up with Spooky Meeples, they may be some of the games that you might be able to play with her.
Some good choices there as well. Some very good choices. But yeah, that's it for today's episode. So thank you so much for listening. Please remember to leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice. Tell a friend about it, and that's the best way to expand the podcast's reach and get it into more ear holes. And that's why we like to be. We want to be in ear holes. We want to be in all the ear holes that we can fit in. Trust me. And remember to watch me whip and watch me BGA, yeah.
And remember...
Oh, here we go again. Remember that to buy yourself a coat. Because it's going to be rainy this week. No, a bag.
Seriously. And remember to pack your bags for
Remember to pack your bags for AirCon. Remember to bring deodorant.
That's very important. We don't want smelly board gamers.
We don't want. We're a big group of people. We're all friends here. We're a big group of adults and children and adults and other children, and we're all going to be squidged together in rooms and bustling together and getting all hot and bothered and musty. just give yourself a little spray every now and again. Just, I mean,
You're going to take your own advice.
On it, no. I want to be called out for my smelly pits.
Right. Anyway.
Yes.
And remember
that advice about the deodorant.
Hey.
Yes. What?
And remember
to be yay. Remember to get into games.
Oh, you said it before me now. You didn't even say it at the same time.
See, I'm so good at this game. Right, okay, we'll do it together. 1, 2, 3. And remember to get into games! Do you want to do it? Right, one more time. We'll do this. Remember to get into games. Thanks for watching.
Watching? I hope they're not watching.
Thanks for watching with your ears. Bye-bye.